The film opens in 1955, Zaporizhia Oblast. An emergency alarm blares as a bloodied scientist, Boris Vladimirovich, races through the chaos. Soldiers block his path, furious that he failed to activate the Red Protocol, a system that no longer works. We see the destroyed corpse of a soldier near them. Boris commands them to stop someone who kills everyone, then clutches a diary and flees. As he climbs an escape ladder, a soldier grabs his leg, begging to come along. Boris refuses and shoots him, escaping the secret experimental bunker. The wounded soldier struggles, only to be dragged back. What kind of chaos has erupted? And what monstrous force is Boris running from? This marks the beginning of the dam's dark story. Now the story shifts to 24 February 2022, when Russian forces launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine's defense forces repelled the main assaults and pushed the enemy back beyond the Dnipro River near the Kakhovka power plant. To prevent Ukrainian defenders from liberating the occupied territories, on June 26, 2023, the occupiers blew up the dam of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant, causing a massive ecological and humanitarian catastrophe. Because of the explosion, land that had been underwater for almost 70 years suddenly became exposed. On 22 September 2023, at a Zaporizhia AFU base, soldiers are repairing a vehicle. Among them are Monk, Bumblebee, and Vakula. A female fighter, codenamed Mara, arrives, asking about the commander. Bumblebee instantly recognizes her. She is Marina. Once reintroduced to her, Marina is his classmate at Roman Pornichuk School No. 3 in Donetsk. He leads her toward the commander. On the way, Marina tells him she has come to find her brother, who is known as Wind. Bumblebee suspects that Wind might not be alive, but Marina insists that her brother is definitely alive. When they reach the control camp, the commander also gives the impression that there is no news about Wind. Wind and two other soldiers had advanced closer to the former dam. Their mission was surveillance. Through a drone, they had spotted a group of Katsaps planting explosives. They were supposed to detonate them and slip into the breached area. Wind had decided to find out the primary objective of that group. But for the past 4 days, all communication with the soldiers has been lost. Going there now would be almost suicidal. But Marina still wants to take that chance. Bumblebee speaks to the commander privately and explains that if Marina says her brother is alive, then he believes she's right, because Marina has always had supernatural abilities. Marina is a psychic. Bumblebee convinces the commander and volunteers to go along with her. In the end, the commander agrees, and Monk and Vakula will also join them. At early dawn, they all set out on their mission. Moving forward, they spot a large hole in the ground, which appears to be the entrance to a bunker. For safety, Bumblebee climbs down first. His foot hits a skull, and after checking that the path is clear, he signals the others to come down. They find an old army cap, and the place looks like a Soviet bunker. On one wall, the words Kakhovka Object are written, and several soldiers' bodies lie ahead with gunshot marks on the walls. They move forward cautiously and enter level 1. As they proceed, they notice a severed arm hanging near an alarm, and they can also hear the sound of a running generator, meaning someone else might be here. Continuing carefully, Vakula sees a statue and angrily throws it aside, saying these people once killed his ancestors during the Holodomor. Suddenly, they see a strange, human-like creature crawling on the ground toward them. Shocked, they watch as it gets closer and suddenly jumps at Monk. Now we see that this terrifying creature is a zombie, trying to bite Monk. Vakula attacks it and pulls it away, but during the struggle, the zombie bites Vakula's arm. Vakula throws it off himself, and when Marina touches its head, the creature rises again, even though its neck is broken. Marina fires several bullets at it, but nothing affects it. Then Bumblebee shoots a bullet straight into the zombie's head, finally killing it. Here, Vakula begins to panic badly, because he believes that since the zombie bit him, he will also turn into a zombie soon. But Monk bandages his wound and reassures him that nothing will happen to him. They then hear knocking sounds, so they move forward. But before leaving, Vakula angrily kicks the dead zombie. Through this, we see another dead creature sitting behind a door. Similar corpses are found in other areas as well. The soldiers reach the living area, where it seems many people must have worked before. As they move ahead, Marina leads, but suddenly the lights in front go out. When she turns around, none of her teammates are there, and the lights behind her also shut off. The light above her begins to flicker, so she drops her weapon, removes her helmet, and steps forward. She opens a door and enters a room where she sees her mother preparing lunch and asking Marina to sit and eat. Marina asks her mother if she is still alive, and her mother looks confused by the strange question. Then Marina's father also appears and starts eating lunch while talking to her. Marina's clothes have changed from her uniform into a frock. A little boy enters as well, surprising Marina even more. The boy invites her to play hide and seek and tells her she will never be able to find him. Marina confidently says she will, but when she searches for the boy, she cannot find him anywhere. She asks her mother how this is possible, and her mother scolds her, saying Marina has ruined everything. Does she want to ruin more? This flash pulls Marina back to consciousness, and she finds herself still inside the bunker. Suddenly, she sees herself in a barren field where her mother is sitting, staring at a burning tree. Her mother turns to Marina and complains that Marina's grandmother passed this gift down to her. If Marina hadn't predicted it, the shell would have landed right there. With her face burnt on one side, Marina's mother walks toward her angrily, blaming her for everything. She asks why everyone around her is dying and where her brother is. Her mother grabs Marina's face with both hands, and Marina screams as blood stains appear on her face and her skin begins to burn. Marina pushes her mother away, reminding herself that her mother loves her, and this is only an illusion. She shoves her mother forcefully and falls against a door, snapping back to reality. She sees all her teammates lying around her in pain. She tries to wake Bumblebee, but a terrifying figure appears behind her. Marina quickly grabs a gun and fires at it, but the bullets do nothing. The figure points at her and disappears, and the lights turn back on. The soldiers regain consciousness, and Marina immediately leads them back to the living area. They realize that all of them experienced illusions, though they barely remember them. According to Marina, it was a psychic influence, and the visions were created by the same creature that appeared to her earlier. Here, Vakula becomes extremely panicked because he had already been against moving forward and wanted to go back, but no one listened to him. Bumblebee mentions Marina's psychic gift, so Marina explains that by touching objects, she can see certain visions of the past and the future, mostly bad ones. Vakula doesn't take it seriously and jokingly steps forward, telling her to pick one of his fists. She chooses the wrong one, and Vakula mocks her. Marina then reveals something about him, that he is a virgin, and this is true because Vakula had joined the army at the young age of 18. Marina goes on to explain that in 2014, a Russian shell destroyed her home in Donetsk with her parents still inside. At that time, she had not yet developed any visions, and she could only save her brother. They regroup and continue moving forward until they reach a room filled with numerous undead creatures. When they open the door and enter, all the undead turn toward them. The team immediately fires headshots, killing them all. Then they open the inner door from where the sounds were coming. Inside, they find a normal human, alive. They quickly surround him. He introduces himself as Karlov, Vladimir Borisovich, a scientist from Moscow specializing in chemistry and biology. He came here with Russian soldiers. He is hungry and asks for food, so Marina gives him something to eat. Marina checks his backpack and finds insulin because he is diabetic. Then she finds a diary containing Karlov's notes, diagrams, information, and yes, some photos of girls as well. When Marina touches one of the photos, she gets a vision showing that experiments were being performed on people here. Bumblebee threatens Karlov to force him to tell the truth. Marina suspects the notebook does not belong to Karlov. He confirms this. It belonged to his father, who had been a Soviet scientist during the Cold War, stationed at the Kakhovka object. His name was Boris Vladimirovich, the same man we saw at the beginning of the film escaping the bunker with a diary. Karlov explains that the scientists here had been trying to synthesize a drug that could turn ordinary humans into super soldiers. For lab testing, they mostly brought convicts, political prisoners, and mentally unstable people. Marina asks Karlov about the woman who created the illusion. Karlov explains that two types of research were conducted here, one aimed at creating fearless male soldiers, and the other focused on developing psychic powers in selected females. After the experiments, the male volunteers transformed into undead creatures, just like the ones they encountered. Karlov says his father told him that Level 3 contains an entire repository of failed specimens. Karlov is here only to complete his father's unfinished experiment. Ignoring everything else, Marina asks about her missing soldiers. Karlov tells her that they had run toward the canteen. Bumblebee steps forward and ties Karlov's hands with scotch tape. They order him to lead the way to the canteen, which is on Level 2. As the group moves forward, they notice a strange, slimy substance dripping over a dead body. It's coming from the mouth of another grotesque creature. This creature is huge, and its face is extremely bizarre. Everyone is shocked to see it. Karloff identifies it as an aster. The soldiers open fire on it and drag Karloff aside for further questioning. According to Karloff, the female subjects were divided into groups based on blood type so they could develop different abilities. Each group was named after a flower, like geranium, tulip, peony, etc. The creature they just encountered, the aster, belonged to one of these groups. Aster-type subjects can produce a special substance that triggers rapid regeneration in a soldier's body. Through that same substance, they can also subdue a person's mind. If the creature vomits this substance on anyone, that person will turn into a zombie, and Aster can then control them. He further explains that there was also the violet group, which was capable of exerting psychic influence, just like the illusion Marina experienced. And then there was the third group, Ruta, the most dangerous of all. Rutas could manipulate molecular bonds with the power of their minds. But no Ruta ever fully survived, because creating a Ruta required an extremely rare blood type, the same blood type Marina has, Rh null. Ruta subjects were the only ones who retained human consciousness, but the stress on the brain was so intense that brain death occurred within an hour. And in the case of the last Ruta, 1 hour was enough for her to kill everyone in the facility. Only after that did the Aster arrive and regenerate the bodies. After hearing all this from Karloff, the group continues moving forward, killing any undead they encounter along the way. When they reach the canteen, they see that the door is locked. Marina tells her team to blow it open. They attach grenades and blast the door. Marina rushes inside, calling out for her brother, Wind. A soldier suddenly appears, and the two of them get into a fight. But eventually, Wind recognizes his sister. He had initially assumed she was part of an illusion. With him are his two companions, Boom and Shiva. Since they destroyed the entrance with the explosion, they now block the opening to prevent undead from entering. Everyone sits down to eat and drink. Wind notices their grandmother's hairpin on Marina's uniform. Just then, loud banging on the door startles the group. They ask about the armory, and Karloff informs them that it is located on level 3. To get there, Wind leads everyone to descend through a trash hole. Marina decides that she and Bumblebee will go down first, but Wind argues that he should go before them. At the end of the argument, Marina knocks Wind unconscious and then goes down with Bumblebee and Karloff, while Monk stays in charge upstairs with Vakula and Wind's companions. Down below, Marina descends first and kills the undead. Then Bumblebee throws Karloff down and follows himself. This is the place where they burn failed specimens. Here they find countless belts of the dead, as if part of a grand mission. Upstairs, the soldiers plan to barricade the door further, but soon the door's blockages are forcefully pushed aside, allowing zombies and other creatures to break in. An intense fight breaks out between the soldiers and the creatures. During the battle, Aster drags Vakula and pins him down with her heavy leg. Vakula screams and calls Monk, who arrives just in time. Aster shifts her attention to Monk, and Vakula manages to escape to a safe distance. Aster vomits on Monk, mutating him. The remaining soldiers continue fighting the undead, but Boom falls victim and is turned. Now only 3 soldiers remain. Shiva fires heavy bullets into Aster's stomach, and Vakula throws a grenade into it, causing Aster to explode. Vakula tries to bring Monk back to consciousness, but for the moment, barricading the door remains the top priority. On the other side, Marina and her team cautiously move forward toward the control room, pushing Karloff inside where zombies are present. Here, Bumblebee showcases his combat skills, taking out all the zombies with his knife. They need the code to the locked armory, but Karloff has no idea what it is. Upstairs, the soldiers, Vakula, Wind, and Shiva, are together when suddenly Monk appears behind them. He throws Wind against the door, then throws Shiva while moving toward Vakula, choking him. Vakula tries to bring Monk to consciousness. For a brief moment, Monk regains clarity and reveals that the monster is controlling him. Vakula reminds him that he had warned them nothing could be scarier. To save his companions, Monk shoots himself. Meanwhile, the remaining soldiers have entered a prohibited site, with many undead seemingly following them. Reaching a hall, they try to escape through the ventilators. In the basement, Marina examines old experiment recordings in the control room. And sees that any girl involved in the Ruta experiment would cause an explosion simply by looking at something. Just then, Bumblebee and Karloff arrive and announce that the armory is now open. They enter the armory, which houses the facility's self-destructive system, a system the soldiers had previously failed to activate in time. There are no armors available here, and the weapons may be located in the main laboratory. So, now, they will have to go there. On the other side, as Wind moves through the ventilator, he hears the sounds of the undead. Vakula and Sheva also climb into the ventilator. Meanwhile, in the basement, Marina moves forward but experiences another illusion, returning to the same flashback where her mother is organizing lunch. This time, however, Marina does not fall under the violet creature's influence and remains conscious. From behind, the violet creature approaches Marina and grabs her face tightly, whispering, "Kill me." Marina is shown visions of Violet being captured and experimented on. She then shoots the creature. Karloff regains consciousness, but Bumblebee suffers brain death. Using her grandmother's hairpin, Marina activates another portal, reaching the location where Bumblebee is trapped, and brings him with her. Back in the real world, Bumblebee regains consciousness. During this time, Karloff disappears, taking Marina's backpack and AK with him. As Marina and Bumblebee move forward to find him, they encounter Wind and his companions, who have come to warn them not to return to the place they came from, as the undead have spread there and have already killed Monk and Boom. All of them move forward together to search for Karloff and reach a lab where he is hiding. They order him to surrender, but Karloff replies that Russians never surrender. However, he foolishly fires his gun and wastes all his bullets, so Bumblebee immediately punches him and knocks him down. Marina touches the experiment formula, and Karloff quickly gets up, grabs an injection, and claims it belongs to him, an updated formula. While talking, he suddenly injects himself with it, causing him to collapse to the ground unconscious. Bumblebee checks him and confirms he is dead, so everyone prepares to leave him there. But suddenly Karloff's body begins to transform. He mutates into a much larger creature and stands up, revealing that he did not inject a drug but the final experiment, one that turned out to be successful. Everyone opens fire on the monster and brings it down, assuming he is dead. But he is not. He tells them they cannot escape because he has already summoned the remaining creatures. The group runs to one side and hides in a lab. Everyone takes positions and aims their weapons. Wind apologizes to his sister, and Marina hugs him before asking him to help them. As Wind helps barricade the door, he leans against it. Suddenly, from behind, the monster tears through the door with its hands, grabs Wind's head, snaps his neck, and throws him aside. It then breaks through the door completely. A brutal fight breaks out between the soldiers and the creatures. One by one, all the soldiers are killed, and even Marina is severely injured. The mutated Karloff approaches her and reminds her that he once said there would be no Ukraine, no Europe, no America, only a union of world countries ruled by a great Russia. "But I will not be alive to see it," he says. At that moment, Marina regains consciousness. The entire scene she saw was a vision that flashed before her eyes when she hugged Wind. At the same time, Marina sees all her companions moving just as she had in her vision. She takes out the Ruta experiment serums from her pocket, which she had picked up from the lab. Marina injects herself with the serum. Bumblebee sees this and shouts at her, asking what she is doing, but Marina collapses unconscious. According to her vision, the monster grabs Wind by the head, injuring him and throwing him aside. Bumblebee drags Wind to safety. Meanwhile, the monster and all the other creatures enter, and an intense fight breaks out between the soldiers and the monsters. Monster Karloff is about to deliver a final blow to Bumblebee when Marina, now mutated by the Ruta serum, stands up. One side of her face glows, and her eyes are completely black. Marina, as Ruta, orders Monster Karloff to leave Bumblebee alone. The beast mocks Ruta, saying, "You're already dead, idiot." But Ruta confidently replies that he has only 1 hour left. Monster Karloff approaches Ruta Marina and chokes her, but she stabs him with her hairpin, creating distance. She then glares at him and blasts him. Wind, though injured, is conscious and overjoyed to see his sister safe. Vakula checks Shiva, while Bumblebee checks on Wind. Wind asks about Marina, and Bumblebee inspects her, asking if there is a way to save her using the notebook. But Marina focuses on getting everyone out safely. Together they move forward, blasting any approaching creatures. Bumblebee heads to the central room and activates the gas pump, triggering the facility's self-destruct system, which begins to explode the dam. As the explosion spread, Ruta Marina blasts the last creature and collapses. But Bumblebee catches her. Just before the final explosion of the dam, they all manage to escape safely. The commander at the base watches the massive explosion on the screen, a hell of a bang. Afterwards, we see Bumblebee and Wind talking in a hospital as Marina is hospitalized. The doctors say that Marina is brain dead. They need to think about what to do next. As they leave, Marina regains consciousness. A woman is sitting beside her and tells her that she should die, but she has another plan for her. What it is remains a mystery, to be revealed in the next part, leaving us wondering what new powers Marina will gain. So, dear viewers, don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more exciting updates. Thanks for watching.